work because I thought it was working. So let's see if it works. Okay, it is working. We are live. Excellent. Okay, and let me go ahead and start the recording. Record to the cloud. All right. Hi, this is Richard Roop with richardroop.com, and this is Tuesday bonus coaching for March 30th, 2021. Got some of my members on the line here. So this is just open Q&A. You can talk about, ask anything about your business, anything, anything at all. Marketing, buying, funding, selling, leveraging yourself, inner game, deal structuring, negotiating, raising money, anything. So who wants to go first?
I can go first. I have a question.
Okay, who wants to go second? All right. Okay.
I'll go second.
Okay. All right, Valeria. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for asking.
You don't have to turn your video on, but it's not on.
I'm here.
All right. We want to see your lovely face. All right. What can I do for you?
Basically, two questions. First is short. I don't feel comfortable asking people on a wow formula what their interest rate is, how many payments they've done, because everything I ask, it should make sense.
Okay.
I'm okay asking the question, do you own it free and clear, or you have a mortgage?
Okay.
They go, yes, I have a mortgage. My next question is, okay, and how much it approximately would take to pay it off? Okay, I get the answer.
Great.
And next, I'm stuck. I'm gonna, okay, really? And what is the interest rate?
No. Unless, okay, you're going to need that information if one of your exits is to take over the loan, right? Mm-hmm. So if it's a free and clear house, that's one thing. If they don't owe more than 40 cents on the dollar, right? We could pay it off. We could always come back later and make offers paying it off, and then if that doesn't work, we could get their loan information and go back with a subject to. Okay. If they owe, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 cents on the dollar, it would be helpful. So the question is, when do you ask that question? So you do want to get that information if that's your exit, if that's you're going to be your offer. If you're going to plan on figuring out, hey, let me see if what I can do for this person if I took over their existing loan, then you want to get into those questions. So the first thing you want to do is ask everything else. Okay? Ask everything else. While you're doing that, you're building rapport, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then when you get to the end of the call, if you realize that you need that information, I would just feed it back to them. I say, okay, you said you owed $120,000 on the house. Is that right? Okay. What are your monthly payments on that?
Okay.
Okay. And if they ask, why do you need to know that? Mm-hmm. We'll say, well, if you have an existing loan, I use money partners to fund my deals. If you have an existing loan in place, there are some ways that I might be able to take over that loan and actually pay you more for the house if I do that. But I would need to know, some of the details on the loan. So what's your monthly payment? See, so I'd give them a reason. I can pay you more for the house if I take over an existing loan as opposed to raising all that money, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the real reason, right? So you're just being honest. But once you've built rapport and they think of you as a really good solution, everybody's going to see how wonderful you are at building rapport on our call Thursday night when we analyze your seller call. We're going to go through it, and I'm going to point out all things you did great, and I'm going to so other people can do the same thing. And then I'm also going to give you feedback, and Mark's going to do that too. All right. So that's when I would do it, is once you're in rapport and you know you need the information. Now, if you don't have rapport, then you can just maybe say, okay, let me work on this. I'll crunch my numbers. And then what you can do is you can actually call them back and say, well, you know what? I'm working on this. However, I don't have your existing loan information. I can look it up online, but can you tell me exactly, what you said your mortgage balance was this, right? What was the original amount that you borrowed? Do you remember that? Okay. And again, and maybe you start with the payment. What's your monthly payment? Okay. And again, another reason, and then, yeah, what is the interest rate? You just nonchalantly, what is the interest rate? How long has it been on there? Okay. So if we can get their current balance, their interest rate, and their payment, and approximate how long it's been on there, we can figure out what the original balance is sometimes. But if we can ask and get it from them, that's great. And then another reason to give them is like, what's your monthly payment? It's like, why do you need to know that? If it's a rental property, you could say, well, I always try and make an offer where I can do better for you, or let's see. See, one thing you can do is you might be able to give them more cash flow than they're getting now as a landlord. So it's like, but that's when you're talking about giving them cash flow versus cash, right? But if they know, if you're discussing, you get to the point where you're discussing, here's what I can do. I can make you, if you take some of your money now and some of it later, if they know that's the deal, then you can have the discussion where you can pay more for the house if there's existing loans in place. And you can also, you always try and work up your offers so that they're actually, if they're getting cash flow on the note, they're going to actually getting more money than they're netting now, as a landlord, because we usually can do that. So keep that in mind as some reasons. Can you think of any other reasons that you would tell them that you need the information?
No.
Okay. All right. Is that helpful?
Yeah, it's helpful. And I actually have a seller like that who has a house for 440. I mean, it's worth 440. And I was wondering if we can go through the numbers. So I have
how much do they owe?
350.
Okay. In that case, you are going to be looking at taking over the 350.
Yes.
Okay. And so you already you had one call with them?
Yes, and a few texts when he told me how much his hazard insurance is.
Okay. Okay, great. So in that case, you could, you might insult them if you ask them if they would sell it for what they owe.
No, he kept saying that he's about to list it, and he actually signed the listing, and he wants 459, listed for 459.
All right. How much does he think it's worth?
He said he did his the homework, and it's what it's worth, 460.
Okay, so he thinks it's worth 460, and you think it's worth 440.
Yeah, approximately that range. Yeah, 440 less.
Okay. All right. And then so I would have that discussion with him. Okay. At some point, is, especially when you're making your offers based on 440. Okay. Now you can make offers based on 460. And say, look, I came up with 440. Here's my evidence, but I went ahead and ran my numbers, assuming that it would appraise for 440. Actually, before I do that, I would make sure that they're convinced it's worth 460. I would tell them, I here, I looked at the comparables. They're coming in at 440. Would you agree with that? And they say,
Mhm.
no, it's worth 460. I say, okay, I can run my numbers based on 460, and as long as it appraises for that, that'll be fine. Now he thinks it's worth 460, and he wants to sell it for 460
Mhm.
with an agent.
Yes.
Okay, I would ask him, what do you think you will walk away with when it's all said and done after paying commissions, and if it's vacant, holding costs, and if there's fix-up costs, and maybe some buyers negotiations where they want you to spend money on stuff that really doesn't need to happen. I would kind of create this negative picture about dealing with picky buyers and marketing it, showing it, and then relying on an agent. And I would ask him, how long do you think it's going to take? So is he excited about putting it on the market with an agent?
He is excited, but at the same time, when I told him that we're using long-term buy and hold approach, this is why we can offer basically market price, sometimes even more. And I asked him, do you want me to work on an offer for you? And the answer was, yeah, I would love to see it.
Okay, great. And yeah, that the verbiage, I can pay market price, maybe more. I would change that to say, because of our long-term buying approach, we can usually pay more than market price, a lot more than you would net if you actually put it on the market and went through the traditional route. Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
So that would be on that. And so, yeah, he wants to see an offer because, yeah, if you paid him full price, he avoids all that agent stuff. So I'd have that discussion about the benefits of avoiding all that agent stuff. Okay. But I'd
Mhm.
also ask him, if you went that route, if you market it for 459 and someone offered you 450, do you think you would take it? Right?
Yeah.
Because if he says yes, now you just got him down to 450, right?
Mhm.
Then, okay, and what do the agents charge? 6%?
Yes.
Okay, so 6% of that, I would, knock that off. Now,
Mhm.
is this tenant occupied or does he live in
No,
it?
it's
Or is it
vacant.
vacant?
He evicted. He's my eviction guy.
Okay, he's got holding costs. And how much money is he going to spend fixing it up before he puts it on the market?
I think he already spent a lot, and he's motivated because it looks to me that he's almost in foreclosure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So um, he owes 350. Okay.
Mhm.
Are the so I would say, okay, so Val, so you owe 350?
Yes.
That it'd take about 350 to pay off the loan?
Yes.
Okay. Are the payments current on that?
I don't know. I did not ask him. I forgot to
Okay.
ask.
Because, well, why do you need to know? Well,
Mhm.
we would have to pay off the 350 unless that all included any payments due, right?
Mhm.
Because they owe 350 plus any back payments. Maybe you have to figure out which way to go on that, right? And when you're in rapport and you start uncovering this because you're getting this impression. Another thing to ask is when they have a mortgage like that, do you know how long it's been vacant?
Don't think for a long time because they just filed eviction in February, so maybe a month.
Okay, okay. And does he want to sell it as is, or has he already put some work into it?
Yeah, he put some work. There are people working in the house.
Okay, okay, all right. Because that's a hot button. Um, and it would be nice if you offered a down payment that covered any money he just recently spent, plus his closing costs.
Yeah, that's for sure. The thing he already owes 350. There are not too much room.
Yeah. The challenge is there's not much room to bring in a private money second.
Mhm, mhm.
So you would have to kind of rely on your buyer's money to give any money to the seller, right? Or reimburse them. So, um, but it sounds like he needs that debt relief and he would love to sell it for full value. And guess what? If he's got to make mortgage payments until it's sold. Did you ask him when he would like to sell?
Yeah, as soon as possible, he told me.
Okay, good. And I would ask him, and then when we have the discussion about the agent, I would ask, how long do you think that would take? See, when he says I want to sell as soon as possible, and he tells you I'm thinking about listing it, then that I would say, okay, how long do you think that might take to get it on the market, find your buyer, and get them closed, right?
Yeah, in fact, on my market now, it's fast. The house is, going under contract like 5 days, and people
Okay.
bring cash.
Okay, but I would ask him that question because he might say, I think I can get that done in 30 days. Okay, great.
Yeah, this is what he told me, like 3 weeks. He told me 3 weeks. We had that conversation.
Okay. Now, how realistic, I would want to find out how realistic, because some people are getting loans, right? But there are cash buyers, but there's also people that will want to get a loan approved and closed. How long does that take in Florida there?
I just actually spoke to a mortgage originator today. He said they qualify specific property before it gets under the contract.
Okay.
Because they're in the competition. It's so bad competition here.
Okay.
Do that work.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I would offer him what he wants: quick sale. He wants debt relief, and he probably I would talk about the benefits of you buying it versus him having to market and show it and go through that. Okay. So yeah, so I would give him a call back and say, the fastest way for me to buy your house and pay you top dollar might be to take over your existing loan as opposed to bringing in new financing. Okay. So who's your loan with? Right? You said you owe 350. What are your payments on that? Okay. Are those current? Do you now does that payment include taxes and insurance? Okay. So I'd get that information. Do you remember what the original loan amount was? And when did you get that? So if you get that information, he might say, well, why do you need to know that? Well, I want to work up the numbers both ways, paying you all cash or, working it out so, where we keep your loan the way I say that is I take over the loan or take care of the loan. Usually we say take care of the loan when they're thinking it's being paid off. But if I can arrange to keep that loan in place, I could probably pay you more. I know I can pay you more than bringing in my money partner with the 350,000 to pay that off. Okay. So I wanted to run my numbers, but I couldn't even consider that unless I had the details. So do you have those? And then I'd ask the questions. Okay. Is that helpful?
Yeah. Basically, am I understand correctly? So basically, before putting everything on UPG, what I have now, I should call him and ask basically directly, hey, the fastest, the easiest way, and the way I can pay you even more than market value is take care of the existing loan, take over the existing payments. To do that, I would need to run the numbers. Give me some details, right?
Yeah, I would say, I would say take over that existing loan. Don't say take over the payments. Just you're taking over the loan. You're taking over the loan, which means you're taking over the payments. Okay. Your other option would be to lease it with the option to buy. I'm not saying you should do that or even really talk about it, but if you did that, you would need to know the loan information. Okay. Because you would work up your offer, okay, you owe 350. Anything I pay you over 350, and you might have this discussion. Anything I pay you over what you owe is considered your equity. Okay. That's what you have in the house. And in order for me to maximize that amount that I pay you, one way I can do that is take over an existing loan in place. Let me ask you, what's your payment on your loan? So tell them you can pay more if you take over an existing loan in place, and then ask them for the details. Okay. And it is to his benefit. It is to his benefit. Now you could put the UPG together and figure out, okay, the other way you could pay him more and actually pay off the loan, because you can do that, is flip your contract, right? If you made a cash offer for, 380 or 400 or whatever, 420, whatever you think, because you got to create a spread in there, right? You can pay him a higher cash price, but that wouldn't be buying it. That would rely on finding your buyer. You can close quickly. You can close faster if you can get some details on the existing financing. You can close faster if you get details on the existing financing, because you can either arrange to take that over, or that will help you determine the funding that you're going to bring in to close. So, and I'd also ask them again, now tell me exactly, in a perfect situation, when would you like to close? Okay, it's almost April 1st. When would you like to, ideally, when would you like to close? So he's getting the vision that, hey, I can close in 3 weeks or 2 weeks or 30 days, right? So get him thinking about that, because especially if you take over his loan, you can close in about as quickly as checking the mortgage and checking the title. Okay. All right. When's his work going to be done?
Excuse me?
The work he's doing to the property, when is that going to be done?
I think he's done now. Okay.
Because if he was working on it, I would say, do you want to close as soon as your work's done? And he said, well, it's going to be done tomorrow. Okay, well, I need a little more time than that. When do you want to close?
Oh yeah, this is a good question.
Yeah. See, this is all that NLP stuff, So give him positive pictures. Have him know that you are a really good solution, and then he'll cooperate. Okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Richard.
All right, you're welcome. Are we going next to Dutch? Or did you have anything else you needed to cover?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Hey, Dutch, how are you, buddy?
It's been a fun week.
All right. How can I help you?
Well, I've had 2 calls. One of them is an older guy whose wife is sick, and they've lived in the house or had control over it since 1954. I don't think I'm going to have much of a problem with them. It's just a $500,000 piece of property. And it's free and clear. So I'm going to work with them. I don't think today or last night, a guy called me and I was at the hospital. I couldn't answer. So I called him back this morning, and he is a roofing contractor that lives in Richmond. His dad passed away, and he's got a house for $185 that's in the middle of Deltaville. It's an older house. He's very emotionally tied to it. Evidently, they had a family house around on Fishing Bay. And I'm going to show you a map of Fishing Bay. That may be upside down.
But no, I can see it.
You can see it? So take a look at where Fishing Bay is, if this will come out on the Chesapeake Bay. This is one of those properties that will not come on the market but once in my lifetime.
Okay, let's buy it.
And he thinks it's worth $700,000. He had a friend, real estate agent that he knows well, come into his.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. You said something about a roofing contractor with a house worth 188?
185. That's one of the houses. That's his father's house.
Okay, that's his dad's house. Oh, and he has his second property.
And the second property, he visited it with his real estate friend, and his real estate friend said, "I'll give you 500,000 for it," and it pissed him off so bad that he wanted to throw him out of the house.
Sure.
The assessment, which the assessment says it's 488. This is a premium place, but the property needs a deck replaced, and it needs some sheetrock upstairs.
How much?
And paint.
How much?
30,000
Okay.
repairs.
Okay.
He wants 700,000. This is where my question comes in. I got into the conversation where I was talking about, well, I just need a place to be able to send you a payment. And he said, "Oh, no. This is going to be cash on cash because I'm getting ready to buy another piece of property."
Why did you say that? Why did you say that?
Because I'm untrained and I don't use your script properly.
Well, did you like the response that you got?
No, it sucked.
No, there was no benefit.
I know there was no benefit to that. But I was letting you know I'm not coming in paying $700,000 cash for your property either.
Why would you? Is this on the first call?
This is the first call. I called him.
No. Unless you don't want to buy the house, don't give him reasons to cross you off his list. He's looking for reasons to cross you off his list, and you gave him a reason.
But he will take an offer.
Yes.
He'll take an offer.
But now you have to dig yourself out of this hole because he already told you I'm not even going to look at terms.
Yeah, he did say that.
Right?
He didn't want to.
No, but
pretty much
so
settled.
this is I appreciate this because everybody's learning this, and you got to learn this, is you never talk about taking over their payments. Well, if you're trying to pre-screen it, there's times when you would talk about that because it's like a non-deal and the only way you can get involved is take over their payments. But you don't talk about taking over their payments or giving them payments or doing seller financing or waiting from their money unless you're trying to blow them out of the water and cross them off your list. Okay. Or that you can actually give them your offer at the time you present it. So Dutch, the only time I would say, would you consider waiting for your money, Dutch? Because if you can, I can actually pay $800,000 for the property, and that's by giving you $50,000 down and $2,000 a month. And I know this will probably not work for you, but I can actually pay more than market value in a situation like that. Okay, so never offer for them to take terms or take payments or wait for their money until you can give them the reason why. And the reason why is all the reasons why, which is so here's what I can do, Dutch. I can go ahead and close in 3 weeks like you wanted. I can take it as is, and I can even pay all the closing costs, right? And there's no fees or commissions, right? I can take over the existing tenant in place, and all that stuff you said you left in the garage, I'll take care of it, okay? All right. What I can do is if it does appraise for the 700,000, I can actually pay, write this down, I can pay 825,000, but that would be if you were in a position where you could get some money down and then take a reliable monthly income of $2,200 a month. All right, secured by the property. Okay. Would you even consider, getting more for the house, getting that price, and waiting for some of your money and having a monthly income coming from me each month that you can rely on? See, that's how you ask them to take terms, is you give them a bunch of reasons to do it before you spring it on them. Okay, so now what you do.
He's $200,000 between what his friend said that he would pay for the house. his real estate agent, he's $200,000 above that, and the house is free and clear. So, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we know he won't take 500 cash, right? His agent friend said 500 cash.
Yeah.
And did he tell you what he wants for the property?
700,000.
Okay. Did you ask him if he thought it would appraise for that?
He said, I don't care what it appraises for. That's what I want.
Okay. And you know what I would say? Well, I care. Now, I'd rather get your idea of what you think it would appraise for as opposed to spending $500 on an appraisal. Do you have any idea what it might appraise for? If I send an appraiser out there next week, what range do you think it might come in at? And he'll say 700,000. Right? Let's say he said that, right? But I want to know what he thinks. And if he says, look, if it's worth less than 700, I can still maybe pay 700. I have to run my numbers. Okay. It's all depending on what I'm going to do with the property. My plan usually, Dutch, is to hold it forever, 15, 20 years. Okay. But I got to figure out what kind of income I can produce from it until then, and then what I can sell it for down the road. Okay. But that's my plan is long-term buy and hold. That's my plan. That's my best option. That's really what I do. Sometimes I'll sell things quicker. That's fine. But I'm building a portfolio. Okay. Now, this property, what do you think is the best use for it? Is it a seasonal rental? And I'm asking him, is it a seasonal rental, full-time use? I'll get his ideas on what he would suggest I do as an investor with the property, right? And then, no, it's really good for someone who wants to live here year round. So does he live there?
No, he lives in Richmond.
All right, is the property vacant?
Property's vacant. Both properties are vacant.
Okay, and how long has it been vacant?
No payments. This it's probably been a year. They might go and visit. It's a seasonal. It's a property that they could go and have a good time because it's right down at Fishing Bay. It's got a sandy beach. He just put a new pier out there.
Okay.
6 foot wide.
So it's a seasonal property. So
very easy.
So I'd ask him about how long the season is. Right.
April to through October is about seasonal.
Okay.
And you probably get some Thanksgiving and Christmas rentals on it if you wanted to.
Okay. Now, did he tell you that?
No, he did not. He's thinking.
So
it's been in his family for years. Right.
They don't need the money. Guess what? He's stuck on price. It sounds like it may not need the money, has no mortgage. They're not trying to produce income from it because they don't want that hassle. They don't need to, right? Mm-hmm. So, but I would also ask him, are you thinking about putting it on the market for 700?
He is thinking about that.
Okay.
My card invoked a call from him. Because he said,
what's that?
I was thinking about putting you on the market, and I got your card, so I thought I'd give you a call.
Okay. So I would ask him, what do you think it would appraise for? And he said, he already asked him, and he said he doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care what the appraiser says because he sees the where the property is located, and he's convinced that if he puts it on the market, somebody will come along and pay that. And he's going out looking for more property, more waterfront property now.
Okay. So I would say, because I've had these discussions many times.
Okay.
I would say, okay, so you're just gonna sell it if you find that right buyer who sees the value, because it doesn't matter what it appraises for. The right buyer is going to see the value. Is that what you're telling me? Right. So I would agree with them. I would ask a question and I would say, how long do you think that would take? And are you going to fix it up before you do that. And are you going to do that on your own or with an agent, right? And so I would walk them through this whole nightmare of putting a house on the market. Okay. And I would ask him, when's the last time he did that? Right. And I would say, it sounds like to me that if it took a long time, it wouldn't bother you. I would use that type of link, right? And he would say, no, I want to get it done as soon as possible. Or yeah, it doesn't matter, right? So gather the information, don't disagree with them, and just tell him, okay, let me gather this information. So you go ahead and gather information that you need to do your comps and to crunch your numbers in the UPG. So I would ask them, if it's a seasonal, what do you think I could rent it for during the season, right? So I'd ask them those questions because you actually need to know that. You're going to have to research it, and he's the best source of that information because he owns the property. And if he doesn't know, it's like, well, do you know of any of your neighbors, if what they've done, right? So he's your best source of research. And then if you have to, you might have to either look on Airbnb, see if there's anybody renting properties like that in the area, because that might be a really good cash flow cow on an Airbnb basis for half the year. And then, but maybe you can also get it during the other part of the year. So you have to determine your income from the property, okay? Whether you sell it to a tenant buyer or a contract buyer who's going to live there all year long, or you do it as a seasonal rental, or you do it for short-term rentals with Airbnb. So once you've determined your income, and then you also have to determine the repairs. You told me what? Is this the one, the 30 grand?
Yeah. Deck and sheetrock upstairs.
Yeah. So you just put the 30 grand in there. And of course, I would always, unless I was doing an Airbnb or something, I would typically, if it was a rental, just a straight rental, I'd fix it up. But if it was a buyer, I would sell it as sweat equity. I'd let them fix it up. Okay. And it is free and clear. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So I would just tell them, great. Thank you all for all the information. Let me do my research. I'll tell you what I come up with. I'll crunch my numbers. And once I've done all that, got all my questions answered, figure out what I'm going to do with it, what I can do with it. I'll tell you exactly what I can do. And if you want 700,000, if you think it's worth that, I could probably pay that. Do you think it's worth that? See, I would now, but I would say good news is really what I can pay, since I'm going to own it forever, is that what income I can produce. That's what I got to work on. What kind of income I can produce on the property. Okay, and then let them know that you're going to go work on it, and then later you can call them back and ask them some more questions, build rapport if you have to, but I would call them back and say, I'm almost done with my research. I can tell you what I can do. Can we set up an appointment tomorrow? And I'll share everything that I've done. Okay. Or something like that. So once you gather all the information, what you want to do is you want to set up an appointment to make your offer, or you can call them back the next day or that afternoon or whatever and say, I want to set up an appointment because I'm almost done and I want to show you what I can do. But I think once you've gathered the information and you put your UPG together and you do your research, you might have some additional questions. So I'd call them back, ask some additional questions, like the ones that I'm giving you, right? And then tell them you're going to continue to work on it, but you'll be done by this time and date. Can we set up a call? Okay.
I will.
Who's making the decision? It's family property, right?
Oh, he is. But he's got probate to go through, I believe. It's been a year since his dad passed, and he's just tired of it. He just wants the money out so he can go, and he's tired of the BS with this particular county because you're coming in with city water, and he had to pay $5,000 because you're going to put city water under the street to his house. He's already paid that. So he wants to get out of this county because he wants to go to another county way. They didn't have to put up with that.
Right.
He's just frustrated.
And right. Well, all those things that frustrate him, take a big note and just say, all right, because I'd love to make you, I'd love to, I'll tell you what I can do. Hopefully it works out, because I would love for you to get out of the county and stop doing this and stop doing that. You know, feedback is hot buttons. So uncover his real hot buttons, his non-financial reasons, and say,
Right.
man, it sounds like a hassle. I want to take it. Let's get this done. And then again, when you make your offer, you feedback his hot buttons as well.
Okay. Thank
Is
you.
that helpful?
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right. So yeah, let's put together some UPGs and work on those.
That
Do you think we can
sounds
do that tomorrow during the deal structuring call?
I could probably do it in the afternoon. I'll get it done before tomorrow so that you have it. I'll send it to you at least 3 or 4 hours ahead of time. I'll send it to you before noon.
Well, I'll look at it during the call. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, how early do you need it ahead of time?
You can send it to me during the call, but I'd like to have it 15 minutes prior.
Okay, I can do that.
So just as soon as it's done, send it over. I'll say, here's the UPGs for the call, and then I'll be ready, right?
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
But sometimes I talk to people during those calls, and it's like, oh, you'll look at it? Yeah. Okay, send it over, and then I take care of someone else, and then we work on it. So yeah.
You're good at that. I just want to know how much lead time you needed.
I don't have time to work on it until we get into that group call. How's that? Unless you were in coaching and it was an emergency or something. All right. All right. Real good. And sometimes if you yeah. All right. Anything else you needed to cover, Dutch? Or are we good? We're good?
No. Okay. I'm starting to get some calls in. I'm happy about that because I thought the postcards were a week late, but I think they went out and they arrived on Monday. So I'm starting to get some calls in on them. They just happen to be high-end ones.
Okay, we just well, we could take it. We could also talk about your marketing plan at any point as well. Okay.
There's other ones going out. It's doing well.
Good. Well, real good. And your wife's in the hospital, so I hope everything works out really good on that.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm going to get a report right now from my daughter.
Okay.
Daughter is calling me to give me a report on what's been going on. Okay. I can't do anything for her, so I'm staying home and working, and they're taking care of her in the hospital, and they'll run some tests for 2 or 3 days and find out what the deal is. And
all right, thoughts and prayers.
Thank you.
All right, you bet. Okay, who wants to go next? Who has a question for Roop? Anybody else? Okay, so these Q&A calls go just until I take care of everybody, then I'm done for the day. Actually, I have more stuff to do. But who's on the line that has any questions about what we covered or or any other questions about the real estate business? All right, everybody good? You good, John? All right. All right, we took care of Valeria. And Michael joined us, and the owner, I don't know who that is. All right. Oh, well, let me show you some stuff. We got a couple minutes here. Let me show you my screen. Let's see. Do I want to share this? I do want to share this. Okay, look. Hey, we're live on Facebook. You see my screen? Shake your head if you see it. Oh, that's me. All right. All right. Now I want to go to, what do I want to do? Okay, there's I guess I can give this link out. I haven't been given permission, but if you go to addicted, let's see, I guess it's summit.addictedtorei.com. Let's take a look here. I'm not I asked them if I can share this. I think I can. All right, because they posted on Facebook. Okay, yeah, summit.addictedtorei.com. They're doing a free 3-day virtual event, and they have 18 experts, buy and hold experts, and you can attend for free. They have an like a $97 upgrade ticket. And Dina used to work with me. So Dina and Jennifer, they're putting this together. It's Jennifer's company, great people, okay? And you can take a look and get some information on it, on what you'll learn. And here's all the speakers, okay? It's a 3-day virtual event, and I am speaking on the ultimate, the ultimate game plan for creating uncommon financial success. If you guys, if you're a coaching client or an Inner Circle client and you want an advanced copy of my presentation, just shoot me an email. I'll be happy to send that because I already did put that together, okay? So that's an opportunity. Also, just today I talked to Rita, my event planner, pretty much confirmed we're going to do my next live 3-day event. It's the secret of creating, it's kind of like the inner game of creating financial success in your life, more wealth, more fulfillment, more happiness. It's based on $1 Million Mindstorming, the secret of creating your financial future. If you have that, I just listened to the first 3 audios. I was looking for a place I wanted to I want to give people a taste of what I'm going to do. And I keep going. I'm going, all this stuff is good. This is all good stuff. So if you have that program, listen to it again or listen to it. $1 Million Mindstorming, the secret of creating your financial future. I'm going to do that program. That was a 2-day program for my highest level coaching clients 11 years ago. Now I'm doing 3 days with high level real estate influencers, helping them change their lives so they can go out and influence others to change their lives. If you're in coaching, you get to come to this event for free. It's a $2,000 event. But if you want to enroll as an attendee, we have some limited seats on that. I have a lot of seats reserved from my my buddies, so to speak. It's I'm trying to find out what's the most. I was told we can only hold 75 people, but we're trying to double that. But we just decided the trade winds May 20th through the 22nd, and that's in St. Pete Beach. Trade winds, St. Pete Beach, amazing location, and I'll be announcing the details on that shortly. If you let's see, I'll open up enrollment shortly, I should say. Okay, at Rupodia.com, if you go to categories and you go to home study systems and you go down here to $1 Million Mindstorming, this program I gave free to everybody that went to the virtual retreat at the beginning of February, okay? And this is an amazing program. So if you own it, go through it. If you want a copy of it, get a hold of me. This is a good example. At least the first 3 audios is a good example of what I'm going to cover. It's a lot different than this because in this one, everybody created a goal of financial freedom, and we actually walked them through a process, and then we gave them the how, okay? This 3-day event is a number of processes to transform you before you leave, and the how will, the how will come later, so to speak. Although you're going to learn about the how, I'm going to explain how that works. I'm just not prepared to let the cat out of the bag. It's pretty exciting. If you want to, we have like 3 spots open for coaching, $1 Million coaching. People in $1 Million coaching can come to that event for free. And all our live events while you're in coaching. We have some spots open till if you want to start officially. We have to get you started before we do the calls the 2nd week of April. So that would be you would want to be enrolled or renewed preferably by Friday. Okay. But the latest would be Monday, because I'm actually traveling the 6th through the 12th. So I'm going to be gone basically the 5th through the 13th. So go to callroop.com if you want to talk to me about coaching. And if you're in coaching, you can always go to callroop.com to book a quick call with me on your business. It looks like next week I'm going to have to reschedule Q&A call and deal structuring call. I don't know how I'm going to do that while I'm on the road. I might be able, yeah, but the following week we'll do it for sure. So I'll get that posted. Right now, what we have is tomorrow we have a deal structuring call at 3 p.m. Central on the 31st. And then we have our ultimate training webinar on April 1st, Thursday, April 1st. That's in the evening. That will be recorded. If you can't join us live to participate in the Q&A. That's a training. In fact, it's the keys to presenting offers on the phone. That's what we're going to talk about. Okay. And I think that is about it. Let me go ahead and stop my share. And I will go ahead if anybody wants to unmute and say goodbye, but we're done. This is Richard Roop at richardroop.com. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
Thanks, Richard.
This was a good call. You guys had some good stuff to go over, so I appreciate it.
I still have some things to learn.
No, I've learned it all. No, but Dutch, it's like every single superstar that I've been starting to work with recently have made the same mistake. Okay, so it's like you've learned, and that's not the end of your learning. But now,
That's right.
yeah, that's going to support you from not, now you have to dig yourself out of a hole. Okay, by the way, Dutch,
Yes, sir.
the way you present your offers is you come and say, okay, here's my research. It's worth, this is what I think it's worth, but I know you think it's worth the 700 to the right person. The only way I can pay more or get you your price and buy it as is and do this and do that and do that is if I gave you some of your money now and then some of it later down the road, because I am going to hold it long term. I know that's not going to work for you, but I did work up those numbers. Let me show you what those are, because if the numbers work, I mean, if the terms work, I can actually pay you $750,000, right? Let me show you that. And when you say that 750, that's going to get his attention.
It'll get his attention much more than his good friend did when his good friend said 500. Because
Right.
he was going
And
to keep his friend off the property. It pissed him off so much. So I know that's a hot button.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And I would say, you know what? I would never do that to you.
Friends or no friends, I'm not going to lowball you.
All right. So when we do the deal structuring, we're going to go with the highest price and the best income, right? With a kind of a smaller down. But then we're also going to go with like a large down payment, which, and see how we can get him how can we get his 700,000 and how much in a bunch of cash, right? How long do we have to go to get him 700?
His hot button is to take these two properties and pay as much pay all cash for the property that he's looking at in Matthews County. That's his hot button. That's what he wants to do, is to pay cash for that other one.
Okay, so I want you to get him talking about that.
About buying the new other property.
Because that's
the key.
That's his dream. That's what he's excited about. So let him talk about it. Ask him about that. And I would even ask, okay, you want to pay all cash? Is that in order to like get a better price? Or,
because you don't want a payment.
Oh, okay. So, or you don't want a payment, right? Because here's the deal. If you can give them a payment on this property, because when you present the offer, it's like, I know this is not going to work for you because you want all this cash, and I'd find out how much cash he needs on this other property. But I have an idea on how this might work, because I can pay you $750 if we work this together with your other property. I want to make sure it works together. So let me show you what I can do on this house and make sure you can get into your other property, that it helps you achieve your goal, right? Now you got his attention, and now you lay out the terms and you say, I got this payment. This would require you to raise the money elsewhere for that property, or you have this income coming from me that would allow you not to have a payment on that other property. You could borrow this amount with this payment, maybe, right? So that's, yeah, I do that a lot when people they want to sell the house they're living in, and they don't want a payment on their other house. So I've gotten them to go and borrow the money, put some money down, get a mortgage, and then have that wiped out with the income coming from me. So, and so I give them that option. It's like, wow, I never thought of that, or whatever. But that, you're always trying to help them achieve their goal. Now, doesn't mean he has to buy that other property either. That's his dream, right? His dream. He might have other reasons for selling this house.
I did notice that of the two properties, one has Chris Hall on it, and the other one has Norman Hall on it.
Okay, well, here's the deal.
Maybe two brothers that are having some conflict. That
I would get really clear on who's making the decisions, who has to be involved, and when can you buy it? Because if it's in probate, it's like, when can it be done, right?
That's true.
I would do that before making any offers.
I will revisit. I only had about 20 minutes with him on the phone.
Okay.
So I'll get more information. I'll say
yes. Call them, get more information, but get him, next time you talk to him, ask him some more information about his dream. Get him talking. Yeah, there you go.
And I'm going to go by. I told him I was going to ride by because it's only 13 minutes from my house. Both of them. All three of these houses are within my county. I ride by them almost all the time. I said, I just need to go by and take a couple of pictures. Is it okay if I go by there? Yeah, no problem.
Well, they're vacant. Are they vacant?
Yeah, they're vacant.
I would ask him, can I get in? Once you have enough rapport.
Yeah, I don't have enough rapport for that yet. He's just met me from a postcard.
Is he local? Is he local?
He's in Richmond. He's about 45 minutes away, up in Mechanicsville, that you came through one time when you were traveling this way. And he's a highfalutin. I'm a big roofing guy. I run a roofing company. I put metal roofs on commercial buildings.
Okay. So I would say, look, I'm going to go drive by the properties. I know you're real busy with your roofing company, but do you want to meet me out there, or is there some way I can get inside? But I don't have to. I can just drive by. But is there a way I can get inside? See, I would always just say that because I have nothing to lose. So, all right, just giving you my thoughts. All right, thanks, Dutch.
God bless. Bye-bye.
God bless. Thanks, everybody.
Richard,
we'll see. Yes.
Just quick question. With my case, if he will agree to for me to take over the mortgage, when any payment I give him down, I will be getting from my buyer, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we would run the UPG to see if there's any way we can pull out the money on a small second. What is the, it's 440?
Yeah.
All right. So 440 times 75% is 330. And how much does he owe?
350.
Yeah, there's no equity really to put in you could bring in a money partner, or you can use your buyer's, money. So, but typically in that case, I would be I'd have like a no money down offer where I pay all the closing costs, right? And then I would have one that might get them like, and I'd go ahead and give up some of my buyer's money that I plan on getting, because it's 440. You should be getting, 5%. That's 20. You should get at least 10 or 12. So you could offer 5 or 6 or 7 down. Okay. But I would start with no money down.
Yeah, but at the same time, there is nothing for myself, right?
Well, that's the problem. That's why we go after free and clear.
I understand.
No,
I get what I get on my hard market.
All right. No, when we do the deal structuring, we want to build in cash flow for you. Okay. Because if you're not getting money up front, then you have to be getting cash flow. There's 2 reasons to buy: cash up front and a back end, cash flow and a back end, or both cash now and cash flow and a back end. So yeah, we never buy subject to just for the back end, unless you're at a point where that's part of your retirement plan. But yes, we could. Now you could, because it might have a high payment and stuff, right? You could insist that, hey, here's what I can do. I can pay you this price. What I would do is I could relieve you of the debt when I close, but what I want to do is I want to go ahead and line up my occupant first, because there's a lot of costs involved, holding the property. And but I need about 60 days to do that.
You mean line up the occupant before I close with him, right?
That's one way you reduce your risk, and you can actually see if you said, okay, I'm going to go out and find a buyer who can give me 10% down, right? Or 10%, that's 40 grand, right? If you weren't committed unless you got 40 grand, then you can say, as soon as I find my occupant, I'll give you 20 grand. See? So there's ways to do that. When we run the UPG, we kind of hammer out those scenarios. So yeah, but we can't do that unless we get the mortgage information. Now, sometimes people look up the mortgage information on the county record.
I do have that opportunity. I actually looked up the mortgage, so I can run the numbers. So would you recommend?
We could run the numbers based on what you find online. We could try that, but we'd just have to verify it with the seller. Yeah.
So basically, we will do that, assuming it's correct, and I'll make my offers so he knows, like, I can pay 500 instead of what he wants for 60.
Yeah. Well, what I would do is I would run the numbers with what you think, your guess, right? And then when you're making your offers, I would say, I put together what I can do. Okay. Now I had to make some assumptions. Okay. So I don't know how accurate that is, but maybe you can help me out. Your existing loan, you said the 350. Now on public record, it said it was 400. Is that right? Okay. And I assume the interest rate was about 4%. What's your interest rate? And what's your payment, right? So yeah, you can, right before you give them the numbers, you could actually kind of verify your numbers, stick them in there, and give them the final.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Or you could say, I'm in this ballpark, but I need to verify these numbers. So you can give them, a couple high offers, the prices, and say, I want to show you how I can give you this price or this price, but I have to verify that your existing loan information. Did we lose you? Uh-oh. Okay. All right. We got a frozen screen here. Either you lost me or we're done. I think we're done. All right, everybody. We'll see you later. I'm going to stop the recording. And I'm going to